Welcome to episode 126 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. And I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg. My co-host, Warren Sklar, here. How you doing, Warren?
It's Sunday. I'm doing well.
We've made this a regular Sunday.
Yeah.
Actually, this actually works out good because it's Thanksgiving coming up. We'll make this the Thanksgiving episode. So
my wife decided to put the Christmas stuff up today, and it's a pre-lit tree, and one row of the lights wouldn't go on, and my son and I are like, "It's fine, you can't even notice." My wife flipped out, so they went out to get a tree. So here's like war scars of me fighting with trees over there.
Got itchy, but glad to have back on the show, Mr. Jeff Gamet. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well, and thanks for having me back. It's always fun to get to hang out with both of you.
Absolutely. We really wanted to be talking about this week. You had a little bit of some fun on social media and the HomePod. So we'll save that to when we get to that our segment here on the HomePod. I also have a HomePod Mini. And I'm at the HomePod Mini, and you might even get a little demo here. So stay tuned here while we talk about that. And then we've got some tips I found that we're going to go through. And beta, of course, is always happening this week, and lots of other things to talk about. So, but first, let's talk a little bit about the news of this past week. And it's always fun to find things to talk about. First story was up on Mac Rumors. The Xbox Series X controller support is coming to the Apple devices. Apple and Microsoft are working on adding support for the Xbox Series X controller to Apple devices. It was actual Apple support page spotted by a Reddit user. The support page says that the controller will be controlled by Bluetooth, and I'm going under the anticipation that it'll support games on the Apple TV, maybe even Apple Arcade. That would be interesting. Do it on your iPad with the Apple Arcade, or any of that kind of stuff. No mention of Sony PlayStation 5, unfortunately. And I'm not a gamer, so I don't know why I'm saying unfortunately, because I don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation. Jeff, what do you think?
Well, to me, this says that Apple is at least getting a little more serious about being in the gaming space, because the more controllers that you support natively and easily, the more likely you are to have people playing your games. I did the Apple Arcade subscription for a while, and I was playing enough that I went out and bought whichever Xbox controller supported on Apple TV, which shows you how much of a gamer I am, because I can't remember what it's called, but I've got it, and it's great. So I'm assuming that this Xbox Series X controller is better it's just better than what I currently have. So that should make serious gamers happy.
Gosh, I go back in my closet. I have an old Xbox 360 sitting and dusting away. I probably know you want to try to like dump it somehow. Someone might buy it for like $50 or something. But I had those controllers too. So yeah, it's I haven't. That just shows you how much last time I had a gaming console. So Warren, did you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I ordered. Finally got the new Xbox for my son for Christmas. Best Buy had them in stock, so I got it. So he's going to get it for Christmas. I could play with it, see how it goes with the new controller. But yeah, Microsoft and Apple seem to be getting along in that space. They're allowing the Xbox streaming service to come to iOS, which would be cool. And somebody asked a question when the chats I'm into. Since you could kind of almost sideload an IPA file now from iOS, we're wondering if you could, when this Xbox streaming thing comes out, can you sideload the IPA file of the Xbox streaming app onto your Mac and play it? We'll find out.
It's going to be interesting to see. We'll find out for sure. Yeah. Next story we had here, there is a story already talking about iOS 15, which is probably about a year away from now, but I thought interesting to just kind of talk about this. This was on Apple Insider. The original SE and the iPhone 6S could be left behind on iOS 15, and I'm not totally surprised at all here. And iOS 14 and iPad OS 14 may be able to use on iOS 15. The report claims, but Apple is planning to end operating system updates for the iPhone 6 series and the iPhone SE original on its next update in 2021. By no means is this surprising at all. Although they still have been doing updates to iOS 12 because you have older devices like the 6 and the 5S that are still supported under iOS 12. They have been adding patches, which is I commend Apple for supporting that. Warren, what do you think on this?
Well, iOS 15 will definitely come out next year, probably in June, I would say.
Right.
With WWDC.
June at the developer. Yep.
And I think probably time. I think the phone's probably 5 or 6 years old at this point.
Yep.
So it is what it is. With the 6S right now, is the 6 compatible with 14 now? I didn't even think it was compatible with 14.
No, it's 6S and higher.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's right. That's it. So basically the whole 6 line, and we'll just go to 7. It happens, and I don't even know why that's even a story. I mean, they drop phones here and there all the time.
Oh, I know. It's always. I got excited. Why are you talking about iOS 15? Come on, iOS 14 just came out. So
take that with a grain of salt too.
Yeah. You've got a long way to go yet. At least another year. So, any thoughts, Jeff?
Yes, Warren. I can tell you why people are talking about this now, and it's because people love to complain. And right. The thought that their
Especially
iPhone SE first gen isn't going to be able to run iOS 15 is just going to make people flip out. And honestly, I'm surprised that iPhone SE and iPhone 6S were supported in iOS 14. I assumed the cutoff was going to be the iPhone 7.
Yeah, would make total sense. So it's always interesting to see, but I guess we'll find out later. So next story I found here, this was on Apple Insider as well. Cable companies are offering a brandable Apple TV remote as an alternative. Universal Electronics is offering its own version of its easy-to-use button-style remote control for the Apple TV, one it hopes to sell cable companies to be included as part of a streaming video package. Apple TV has been offered as a bonus for some cable companies for a few years. If I remember correctly, I got a really cheap one when I signed up for DirecTV's streaming service and then canceled it 2 months later. And this is definitely going to be interesting to see that it's something that we'll be looking to. Of course, the remote that I talked about it before from Function 101 is a great remote and all, but doesn't have any of the Siri stuff that it includes with this. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, and if cable providers, ones like Comcast, who I subscribe to, and Spectrum, and many of the other big cable providers would think about jumping into this set-top box deal. Jeff, what do you think on this?
My first reaction was, oh, great. So cable companies are still working out ways to make our user experience less enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly.
My experience with third-party remote controls for Apple TV has been mixed. And I found that there's no third-party remote, at least that I have tried, that replicates all the features of the Apple remote. So like I have a Harmony Elite, which does crazy stuff.
Yep.
But my Apple TV remote still sits on the couch, so that when I decide it's time to force quit an app or to reorganize apps and folders, I can do it. Yeah,
exactly. Warren, any thoughts?
No, my remote collects dust. I do use.
That's right.
I use my phone for Apple TV. It works great, and it's always near me, never lost.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the thing with the cable company is a lot of these cable companies already have like Fios now. You could talk to a remote too, so you don't. It has its own voice assistant. And I think Xfinity does too. So they are all. But at one point, what are you going to be able to pretty much tell the remote? Whether it's Google or Amazon or whatever to do something. And hopefully that's, I guess that's what they're going for at this point.
Yep, absolutely. Next story, also an Apple Insider. This was this is actually the from iFixit. iFixit did the teardown, and they actually did it live. I couldn't watch the whole thing because it was like over an hour just going through it. But they did do a teardown of the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which both Warren and I have. I forgot. Do you have it? You have the 12 Pro, right, Jeff?
I'm getting the 12 Pro. I just haven't yet. So
okay. You haven't
I still have my 10.
Gotcha.
At least for now.
And so they did this was talked about. The latest teardown of the 12 Pro Max had revealed just how the camera system is to the one that's different from the 12 Pro. It's physically larger sensor, which we knew. OSI mechanism resulting in a much bigger camera module package. So after they did their teardowns, they found that module. And this article has a picture of the camera lifted up here. It is about 47% larger than the Pro, which makes total sense. Other thing that was different on this as well is the battery. It's like kind of an L-shaped battery, and it's got a lot more watt hours. It's 14.13 watt hours versus 10.78 in the 12 and 12 Pro, and 8.7 in the Mini. But they need to have some space in there. It's a big phone, so they got the space for the battery, and they got space for the camera. It was interesting to see how the teardown went, and I don't know if you guys, Jeff, I don't know if you had a chance to look at that at all, but it was interesting.
No, I read their teardown. I didn't watch the video, and honestly, the biggest surprise to me was they had to put a space filler inside the phone.
Yeah,
there's an empty space where there's no battery, there's no other components, and they didn't want to just leave this cavity in there, so they put a spacer inside.
Yeah, strange. I know the Taptic Engine module is much bigger than the other two. They did that. They put them next to each other, compare that. So repairability was at 6 out of 10, which it's actually not bad if you think about it. But
it's
of course,
surprising for an iPhone.
For an iPhone, of course, the goo everywhere, and the pulling the goo tabs out to get the battery out. They showed that. So, Warren, do you have any thoughts?
Kids, don't try this at home, I guess is my thought.
I probably would say the same thing. I wouldn't. I'm watching this cringing. I have a $1,400 iPhone 12 Pro Max. I would not do that in a million years.
I opened up a couple phones and never again tried to fix them, and my hands are too big.
It's something to avoid at all costs. It's just interesting to watch. So next article here. This was actually in the Mac Observer. Apple released a update to 14.2.1. It is specifically for the iPhone 12 for fixing some specific bugs. And there was some issues with the MMS messages that weren't being received. And my wife actually complained that I wasn't getting her text messages. So that definitely was a problem. And then we also had the hearing devices with hearing aids were having trouble, as well as the touchscreen on the Mini 12. The 12 Mini was not responsive. Guys, any thoughts on this? Jeff?
I was disappointed that this was only an iPhone 12 series update, because the missing MMS problem I'm experiencing on an iPhone 10.
Really?
Yes. Although the fix for hearing aids, I'm really glad that was in there. I don't have hearing aids myself, but I know people who do, and they use them with their iPhone. And the audio problem, it's worse than it was just an audio problem. It was like screeching and static, and it could make using your hearing aids with your iPhone basically impossible.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on this one?
I don't know if I think my wife actually just updated. She missed that update, but she updated yesterday, which I think was after that release. So hopefully, I didn't miss any text from her. That's.
She has a 12?
You probably know by now.
Yeah. I have the 12. She doesn't have the 12. She has my son has a 12. She still has her 10. 10s. She has a 10s.
Got it. So, well, make sure you update for all those of you that have the 12. It's a bug update. It's not going to be any big deal. So take care of that.
It's a super fast update to install also.
Yeah, it's very small. It shouldn't take more than a couple minutes. So, next story. This was also Mac Observer. Apple Fitness Plus could be arriving with iOS 14.3 and Watch 7.2. Is a question. Apple said that the Fitness Plus service was going to arrive at the end of the year, but Mac Rumors reports that 14.3 and Watch 7.2 betas, which were released, we're going to talk about in a minute here on Wednesday, indicate the service could arrive alongside those updates. So yeah, it's interesting to see why Fitness Plus is taking so long. Jeff, what do you think? Why this is that Apple's so slow with this? Maybe just getting the services in place, or?
I think that they announced the service prematurely.
Yeah, I think they did too, because it wasn't ready.
Yeah, it wasn't ready. They're pushing to have everything ready by the end of the year, and my guess is that we'll get that update in December sometime, and so they'll hit their deadline, but they weren't close enough to being ready when they announced the service to be able to comfortably get it out when they wanted to. I think they're rushing.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Soren?
No, but I did see when my watch did the update to the beta, I did get after you first update it, the first thing it shows you is something about fitness. So that graphic you see, so something's coming.
Yeah, seems like it. So, and then last story here. This was in Apple World today. Sensory Tower, top 5 widget apps for iOS 14 installed on 15% of US iPhones. When Apple iOS 14 launched a couple months ago, 2 months for the be exact, they introduced home screen widgets and iPhone and iPad for the first time, according to the Sensory Tower survey. Intelligence data and modeling, the top 4 or 5 widget apps are shown here on here. What are the 5 most? Which of course, Widgetsmith, color widgets, photo widget, the widget, everything. So far, it says that it's about a lot of widgets out there. 1.7 million installs globally, and the 5 apps have collectively reached an estimated 45 million installs to date. I've not really got into widgets so much, but it's just insane. Some of these young, you whippersnapper young kids out there love customizing their phones to beyond belief. I've watched a lot of these YouTube videos, these kids, and I'm like, holy cow, I don't even recognize it's an iPhone. Jeff, have you dabbled in, I know you've talked about widgets a little bit. Have you dabbled in anything with those?
I've been playing around with widgets, and I haven't hit my stride with them yet. So my screens on my iPhone are just straight up a mess right now, because I've just dedicated screens to experimenting with widgets to try and figure out what's going to really do what I want. So part of that 15% that has Widgetsmith installed, that's me. And
there you go.
Yeah, but I don't get it. Usually I'm just like really catching on to new technologies like this when Apple introduces them, and then just really diving deep in. And with widgets, it's still kind of a novelty for me. And my guess is one of these days it's just going to really click which widgets I need and how to arrange them, and then I'll just take off. Yeah.
Have you dabbled in any widgets at all, Warren?
Yeah, we spoke, I think, last week, but I had a failed update, a failed restore of my phone a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of nuked and paved and started over. And with iOS, it's crazy to do that because moving icons around is stupid. But so I decided to do what they showed at the keynote and basically have 1 or 2 pages of stuff and then use the app library, which is what I've been doing. So with that, I decided I was going to make like 1 page like apps that I use a lot, and the other page widgets, which seems to be working for me just to do some quick things. So like the Google widget is good. I'm looking at my phone now. I have a Google widget. I have a weather widget, and I have a scrolling one with things I like to do. And once you get used to it, it's just great.
Yep. All right. And that's news for this week. Let's go into the topics. Always our topic for each week is beta. iOS 14.3 and iPad OS 14.3 beta 2 is what came out last week. And this update included a few minor new features. Notably is waiting for the ProRAW support for iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max cameras. I'm assuming you did install that on your 12 Pro Max, and have you looked at the RAW support at all, Warren?
Yeah, I took a picture with it, and I couldn't see a difference in any other picture. It looked the same.
You shouldn't see a difference in any of the pictures when you're just taking them on your iPhone like that. Okay. Where you'll see the difference is when they leave your iPhone and you open them in an app like Photoshop that can work with raw images or Affinity Photo, assuming they have the profiles for Apple's ProRAW. Then you'll see the difference because you have all this other data that's in there that you can work with. But,
right. So I guess normally Apple just strips out on a normal photo. They'll strip out most of that stuff to make it smaller, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's the way they do their compression with the image format. So they're not actually stripping anything out. It's just what you're seeing is essentially a JPEG thumbnail that's generated from the raw data from the image. And for all the pro photographers out there, yes, I'm very aware that I just really simplified the whole process. So I am acknowledging that right up front.
So this is more for photographers. Nobody
users.
other than a photographer would want to do this. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that's an okay general statement. The average user isn't going to really see a true benefit from ProRAW. For people that are professional photographers or are really into their photography and working with your images, they'll really appreciate the ProRAW. So the great thing for me is that by the time I do get my iPhone 12 Pro, that ProRAW update will probably be in place, and I'll be able to take advantage of it right away and won't have to deal with the frustration of wishing I could.
Any
other things you notice on the beta, Warren?
Yeah, the big one that everybody, everybody hopes is staying around is when you run a Siri shortcut, it doesn't open up shortcuts first. It puts a little banner on top of it saying that the shortcut's running. And the reason why this is good is because the kids that are customizing everything are making customized icons using shortcuts. Basically, the shortcut launches an app, and you can give the shortcut a different app icon. So now it's pretty much instant. You just see a little banner on top. I've tried it out with my son, and he can't wait for that to happen. And the shortcuts run a little bit faster too because of that. It's like one less step going through it. So that if that stays, that's going to be a good thing.
Excellent.
I hope it does.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it will.
I'll start doing more automation with my iPhone.
Oh, for sure. Because you don't have to. I mean, as much as we like to be propeller heads, like some folks we know and love, it's easier just to have a shortcut that does its own thing and not have to dabble deep into the shortcuts world. But I hope it does change. All right, let's go and move on to the one of the big topics of this week. I wanted to talk about the HomePod Mini. I did receive my HomePod Mini, and I'm showing it on camera. We're live on video here. I got the space gray one, but I also have a white one too, which I have not unboxed as of yet. I must say my first impressions of it is pretty gosh darn good sounding. I mean, I think for a little guy that's $100, $99. I mean, I do have two HomePods next to me here. I also have a Sonos Move, so I'm at the high end too with sound. But to have a little HomePod like this, a HomePod Mini that could be in another room that doesn't take up a lot of space and not to be terribly expensive, I mean, I think it's worth the value in gold for something like that. By no means, there's those other folks out there that are audiophiles. And I read on Twitter Dave Hamilton saying that he didn't like it so much, but he's a music guy. He really appreciates music probably more than many of us do. But I give him credit for that. But there's no question the HomePod sounds pretty amazing. The Sonos Move is just off the charts amazing. So, but Jeff, you were having some fun on social media. I was really thoroughly enjoying watching all the posts you were doing, from showing the wrapper to unboxing it to how it looked, and you went to some pretty good details, and then you did the quite interesting thing, and you were comparing it against the Amazon Echo and getting some sound quality. So go ahead, tell us what your initial thoughts were of the Mini and the comparisons.
Well, my first thought was Apple sent me the wrong product, because the box seemed way too small, and. Yeah. I mean, even the box does make. I could probably make this out of holding some stuff now that it kind of splits in half. Now you can set up a desk organizer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When I took it out of the package, I'm still looking at it, and I'm thinking, this doesn't look the same size as what Apple showed us in the promo videos that they did at their media event. It seemed so much smaller to me, and I also noticed that it smelled awful. The off gassing
still smells.
Oh, yeah.
It's not as bad as it was when it first came out of the box. It's not as bad as I'm smelling it today. It was pretty bad when it came right out of the box.
Yeah, for the first 24 hours. I was questioning if I was just going to send it back to Apple because it just smelled so bad. But then it doesn't smell so bad now. And I was surprised by the off-gassing. But I was also surprised by the audio quality. And yes, Dave Hamilton, he's not impressed. And he says, this isn't a $99 speaker. Well, and he's right. It's a $79 speaker that ships with a $20 Apple USB-C charger. Yeah. So it's a $79 speaker. And yet, while Dave is not impressed, I was impressed, because I was expecting it to sound really flat and very hollow. And while it is missing part of that dynamic range, I mean, based on the person that did their own version of an iFixit teardown, just like someone in their living room, they opened it up and it's basically a subwoofer, and that's in a circuit board. Okay, well, I'm really surprised what they're doing with audio with that sort of a setup
for a size.
Yeah, and I also found that once I had it set up and used it with my HomePod, not as a stereo pair, because you can't do that, but just as a whole home setup, I was really surprised at how well it blends in with the HomePod. So my HomePod, it's on my desk today, but normally it's in the living room, and then the HomePod Mini, also on the desk today, is usually. It's funny. We've only had these things for just a few days, so
right.
It's on a little shelf that's back behind me here, and so I'll say, "Hey, S Lady, play Stan Getz everywhere," and then my apartment is filled with the music, and it doesn't feel weird when I get away from the HomePod and closer to the HomePod Mini. It just blends together nicely.
That is nice. And you also did a comparison with you're an Amazon household as well as a HomePod household. So interested to see how they compared. I know for sure the Echo Dot that sucker is.
I did the Echo Dot as part of the comparison because some people asked me to, and the results are exactly what you think. It's like, this isn't even fair to do this comparison.
Yeah, can't really compare it.
But since the HomePod is $99 and the Amazon Echo, the taller one, this one,
right.
is $99. That seemed like a more reasonable comparison because they're in the same price range. And I was surprised at how much better the HomePod Mini sounded than the Echo. And the Echo, it sounds perfectly fine. It's not something that an audiophile is going to use as their primary audio source. No, not at all. And I'm not looking at the HomePod Mini and the Echo as, like high-end audiophile equipment. That's not what they are. These are smart speakers, and they can also stream music, and they can do it all in one package and sound reasonably good doing it. So I think the Echo's audio is nice. It's nothing spectacular, but it's nice. The HomePod Mini does outperform it. It does sound better.
That's interesting to know. So, and you wanted to do a little demo. Why don't we do it? We did this on the Mac show, the British Tech Network, but let's kind of give a comparison. You're going to hear through a mic, so it's really not going to be true. But the comparison between the Echo and the HomePod Mini, and I don't know. Let's do Hotel California. That's what the song you picked on Friday.
Sure, we can do that.
Try that. Just to take a couple seconds of it, and do I try that out real quick?
I'll move the mic so it's positioned better for the. We'll start with the Echo. Alexa, play Hotel California. Okay, here's the funny thing. The Echo in the living room, because I also have a Polk soundbar that has...
okay.
Yeah. Alexa, stop.
Built in, yep. as everybody's Alexa's going off, I shouldn't even say "Hey, lady."
Yeah, which I wish I could say "Hey, lady" for this, but well, here we go. Okay, let's try this again.
That's okay.
Alexa, play Hotel California.
Amazon Music is streaming on another device. Amazon Music Unlimited plan.
That's okay.
5 family members can stream on up to 6 devices at the same
Alexa,
time.
stop.
Let's go ahead. We'll just do the. Let's just do the HomePod and
Alexa
see how
doesn't like
that
the
sounds.
pressure. Too much pressure.
No, she doesn't. Okay, so we'll start with the HomePod.
Yeah, we'll just do the HomePod. We don't need that. We don't know what to worry about the Alexa. We know it. We don't know. We know she doesn't sound as good.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Which room is each assigned to? That's important. So the right one starts.
Living room, right?
Yes, living room. Okay. Hey Siri, play Hotel California in the living room.
Here's Hotel California by Eagles in the living room.
Bring it a little closer. Yeah, I mean,
You're not going to know over.
it's hard. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
but
And what I can say is that the bass is nice and full. I can hear the mids and the trebles, and it sounds like what I expect from a HomePod. Hey Siri, stop.
okay. I think that was a sufficient demo. We don't have to go crazy here, but
All right. So
no, I found that it was interesting when you did it on Friday. Yeah, it was interesting to hear the differences over a microphone. So it's obviously you're not going to get a true listen to it, but grab one. Try it out. If it doesn't work, Apple gives a 14-day return policy. Well, now they'll let you return through end of Christmas. So. If you can get one, they're going to be harder and harder to get here because of the pricing. And I said that they would sell really, really like hotcakes here. I haven't talked to Warren on this. So Warren, you're not a big HomePod person, right? You have a HomePod, but
No, I have two.
This is not a big.
I have two of the original HomePods, and I have speakers all over the house. I can't justify another one at this point. Sure. It would just be to play with it and not to actually use it at this point. So. That maybe down the line I'll get one. Don't know what I'll do with it, but Amazon's. We have a lot of the Amazon stuff too, and they did update their dot. It looks like it's now a circle, and sounds better than the older dots. So they're trying to, make them a little bit better. Maybe, they'll start going on sale and they'll get to that lower price point. Maybe somebody will buy me one for Christmas. I don't know. We'll find out.
If they're going to buy you one for Christmas, they better order it soon because they're back ordered.
Yep, they're hard to get. So, any other final thoughts, Jeff, on the HomePod Mini? And you definitely say it's a buy.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised with it, and my expectations for this were set based on the HomePod, which initially I was really excited about the HomePod. Then I became very disappointed, and then realized that I needed to accept that it was a specific type of device, and then I've become okay with it. So I probably have Stockholm syndrome on some level, but to me, the HomePod is a great kitchen timer that also streams music very nicely.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
And so the HomePod Mini to me was, if I want to take that experience and just toss it into another room so that I have more sound, that's what the Mini is to me. And it meets those expectations, and it does it at a level that's higher than I was expecting. So I'm very pleasantly surprised and pleased with the HomePod Mini.
Excellent. And it uses a USB-C connector, so could go more places. You could bring it with you to, there's more USB-C plug options. In fact, I think you and I, Jeff, are helping somebody who bought a battery pack, USB-C battery pack for it.
Right.
And was going to see if they could get it to work. And she did. She said it worked. So in theory, if you had something that could charge it, you could sort of have it portable. I'm sure Apple didn't intend for that, but I'm sure they knew that people could do it. And certainly, plug it into a USB hub if it has enough juice in it. So it's a little more convenient in that way.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if there's a USB hub that it works with, because as far as I know, all USB hubs are 1.5 amps, and the HomePod Mini is drawing 2.22 amps.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's got to be a higher amperage for it to play. Because I remember you plugged it into the computer and it shows an orange ring saying there's not enough power.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to think what happens if it doesn't get enough power. If it, it does this orange strobe thing. Well, it's not like fast. It's just that slow strobe that Apple does.
It's kind of spinning around.
Yeah.
If you put too much juice in it, does it go green like crazy fast?
Yeah, you can actually see the sound.
Yeah,
that's right.
Plug it into the MacBook Pro 16-inch USB charger, the 96 watter. It just explodes.
I haven't tried plugging it into that yet. And it would be it would be interesting to see what happens, because it's more than 20 watts, but if it's only drawing what it needs, whatever.
Right.
But the 96 or 98 watt charger that shipped with my MacBook Pro is also 1.5 amps.
Oh, okay.
So
I've got it plugged into my Aki plug that's 90 watts and it's working fine.
Okay.
So somebody's going to come up with something, because even with the Echo Dots, with the micro USB port, the first gen and second gen, if you go on Amazon, there's you could buy things that people put those dots into, like a little case that has a battery in it, and it works that way. So I guarantee somebody's going to come up with something for you. The HomePod's similar, which is going to be like a battery base for it, make it more portable.
Do a battery base that has 2 USB-C ports on it, so you can take a stereo pair of HomePod Minis with you anywhere.
Yep.
So definitely a buy. We highly recommend it, and we'll have all the information here on the show notes, as well as a picture I took from Jeff's Facebook page with his rocket ship and the three devices. So and I think it definitely it's a buy. So I highly recommend.
The white one is still available. The white one's more available than the gray one. You can still get it.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but
Hey Siri, stop. I must have brushed the top of the HomePod.
Yeah, if you touch it, it's gonna go. So a couple of the things I have a review of. I also received this past week the new MagSafe Charger. That's the big ring here. I'm showing on
I'm
camera.
curious to hear about this.
Yeah, this is an interesting little device. It was $39. I think it's $39.99 that Apple's selling it for. It's got a USB-C connector to it, so I've got it plugged into that same charger I just mentioned, the Aki. Mm-hmm. And interesting thing, what happens is you hook it to the back of the phone, and the ring comes up, tells you it's starting to charge. So it's got that special ring telling you that you're using a MagSafe charger. Now, I don't have the MagSafe case, so it's not holding it solidly, because they were showing people that were holding it by the wire, and it had a pretty strong magnet. I have a feeling I had the other case, but I returned it because I was just already hearing people breaking. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this.
So which case was breaking?
It does. The actual MagSafe case. People were saying that the bottom of it was breaking, as well as the MagSafe case doesn't. I like a case that has the protection all across the bottom of the phone, and it doesn't have it.
Yeah, same.
It's open.
I trashed an iPhone screen once in an Apple case.
Yeah,
because it didn't.
The leather one does. If you get the leather
one does. Yeah. The clear case doesn't. Yeah. So it does charge pretty fast. I had it charging for a while, and it just seems like it does work real well. So I'm pretty impressed to see how it goes when it comes to charging. And so yeah, the MagSafe seems like it's charging real well. And then the other thing too is it will charge the AirPods Pro. So if I put it on top here, it's going to charge the base on there too. So I know it's kind of not something you probably are going to do that often, but for $40, I don't know. It might not be something that you really be interested in. I'm going to keep it. I think it's a nice additional way of charging the iPhone, as well as having for any other wireless charging.
Well, the fact that it can do your iPhone and an AirPods case, to me, that adds some value to it, because up until this point, I've been thinking, all right, well, that's $40, but like, I have a $12 Anker Qi charger that works flawlessly. So why should I, when I get around to getting my iPhone 12, why should I look at this MagSafe charger, considering where I would be charging? I mean, I have a constant gravity, so I don't need to worry about the iPhone floating off of the Qi charger. But being able to use it to charge an iPhone or an AirPods case as well, okay, that adds some value to it.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
My take on that real fast is
yeah, please.
The only use I could see of it is if it's strong enough to hold the phone up with the case on it, because I could see car mounted being a good thing. That's something I'd be interested in, like a kind of a flat surface, just sticks right to it. And then I'm thinking, like, at night when you use your phone in bed, you can leave it connected while you're using it and still charging it. But then I think, you could do that with a cable too. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see really the need for it right now, but down the line,
it does work.
Yeah.
The case doesn't allow it to, because I'm holding it right now on camera here. So without the case, it is strong enough.
Yeah.
It's just the case. So you have to have the MagSafe case in order for it to
stick to it. Yeah.
For it to stick to it strongly.
So if they could incorporate that into, I think Belkin has one out now that goes onto the vent. Unfortunately, my Tesla doesn't have vents, so I can't use it. So I'm waiting for something a little bit better. But that would be cool, just to be able to stick it up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So no, definitely agree with that. Another item I picked up this last week is actually I found this really cool little portable SSD drive. It's a 1 terabyte. It's made by Samsung, and I have it on camera here. This is a little guy here. It's an SSD. It's called the model T5. Links in the show notes. The speed on this is pretty incredible, 540 megabytes. It's not going to be at the high end of some of those Thunderbolt ones, but for a little guy like this and being able to hook it to your iPad and be able to work with the files on it, I think is pretty impressive. It comes with both a USB-C and a USB-A cable in the box, and easy to format. Just format it on your Mac. And I formatted APFS, so it's compatible. So I plugged it into the iPad, worked flawlessly, and copy files over to it. And another neat little, and it's tiny. I mean, this thing's it is really small in sizing. So I was pretty impressed with it. Warren, have you been using any the solid state drives on the iPad at all?
No, on the iPad. On my Mac, I have.
Well, of course.
Yeah. So I have a couple of them, a couple of the enclosures for the solid state drive, what are they called? The S2, the M2, the M1. I forget what they're called. The long drive thing. And then I think I have a WD solid state one like that. So yeah, they're good. I never really needed one on my iPad yet, but you never know. Yep,
absolutely. Any thoughts, Jeff?
How much did that cost?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that's kind of important to mention. It's $129.99.
Okay.
So for its size, it's a little smaller. And I mean, compared to the SanDisk drives, I've got, I'm showing this on camera. These are the SanDisk ones that people have been buying. These are really nice too. These are right around the same price, but they're slower. Yeah.
The SanDisk, I've used that with my iPad Pro.
Yep.
And the performance has been fine.
Right.
But having faster performance would be nice. So I'll have to keep this in mind. So I actually do video editing on my iPad Pro in LumaFusion.
This could come in handy. So, all right. So those are a couple of picks I come up with. That kind of go alongside this past week episode was released. I know Jeff, you'll be on the show probably soon if you hadn't been already on MacVoices with Chuck Joyner. We had the very first gift guide show for 2020. It was myself and Kelly Guimont and Brett Terpstra all been on the show before, and 2 episodes. They broke it down into two segments, and I have my picks on there, and surprisingly enough, all the picks are on there are items that I've talked about on the show before. So you have the function run the Apple TV remote, a HomePod Mini, the Aukey 90-watt charger that I just mentioned that I've been using. This charger is phenomenal, and then the TiVo Stream 4 was another device I picked. So take a look at those episodes. They're a lot of fun and a lot of fun to watch. They had some great picks as well. So definitely something to take a look at here. So. With that, let's see where we're at here. I'm going to actually talk about 2 app picks that I had this past week. The first one is actually an app that allows you to be able to bring in your live photos that come in and actually put them together. It's called video to photo. You can extract still pictures into a movie. And what it allows you to do is it's an HD app, so it allows you to export one or more of high quality photos from your videos and live photos in a quick, fun, and easy way. And why would you want to do that? Because a lot of times you may want to extract some photos from a video. I mean, if you take a long video, there might be a specific spot of the video you want to make it into a photo. Well, the app allows you to be able to do it really quickly and really easily, and you can create it and extract it. You can crop it, and then you can export it into the Photos app or any other, and the Files app or any other apps can be opened that can do editing. It's a pretty impressive app, and it does extract up to 1920 by 1080 video, and you'll be able to produce those size of images. So it's got real high reviews, up to almost 4.9 on the reviews. Not expensive, only $2.99.
Wow.
So really a pretty impressive app. I've been playing around for a little bit this past week, and wanted to share it as one of my app picks for this week. And then the second one is actually an app called Filmbox, and this is made by a company called PhotoMine. And what this is it allows you to be able to scan film negatives in high quality just by putting it up to your phone, and you use their website. They have a web page that you go to that's got the white box, and that's a backlit source on your computer. They provide you the link to use that as backlit source. You hold the film strip in place vertically in front of the light, and then you open up the app. You hold the button down for 3 seconds. It scans the negative photo and brings it in, and automatically auto crops and enhances and brings it in. That's really pretty
cool.
Impressive. Really impressive. Yeah. So I started playing around with it for a little bit, and to today actually, and it takes a little getting adjusting. You got to put the negative in just in the right position, and don't be real close to the screen, with the white background. It does take a little bit to do that. So it is free with in-app purchase. You're only going to have the limited photos that you can take. Actually, I see this too. This is actually available in the Mac App Store too. So this must be. I didn't even see that. So I'd be interested to see. Maybe that'll open in on an M1 Mac too. I'd have to see what that does. I don't know how you would do it without a camera, but the in-app purchase is, I think you can do $5.99 for a month, or you can do $19.99 for 2 years, and you get unlimited negative scanning, unlimited photo saving, and unlimited photo sharing. And that's an upfront payment as opposed to having to pay it up all at once. So I thought that was a pretty cool app. What do you think?
That's
Jeff?
very cool.
Yeah, so it is free to try, so you can check it out and see if it meets something. I actually pulled out I remembered, I've got this old folder of all my negatives. I show you guys on camera. Here's my little portfolio of negatives with the sheets here. I'm looking at the year on this stuff: 1982, 1983, early 80s. All my negatives. So I don't know if I'd be going through all those.
Awesome photos.
Oh yeah, some fun stuff. I should go back and look through it. It's been a long time since I've looked through it. I was quite the avid photographer when I was in high school. So I mean, I was in the dark room. I would develop film by myself with trying to get the film on the reels and doing the whole development stuff, and so I've been through all that. That's the old time stuff. Obviously don't do that anymore, but a lot of us have like a box full of negatives that you might have seen some photos in there you might want to get a picture of from many years ago. So this app will definitely help you out. And like I said, it does have a fair amount of good reviews, and not everybody likes it. You got some they complain that it isn't focusing. You got to get used to it. That's for sure. So as far as that goes,
I would assume if you're comparing this to a dedicated negative and slide scanner, that you would say, "Wow, this is kind of a crappy app," or "This doesn't compare to what I wanted." No. But I mean, at the same price or at the same time, what would you say? $5 for a month or $20 for 2 years?
Right. Yeah, that's not bad. $20, you get 2 years.
That's a lot cheaper than a negative scanner.
Yeah, buying a couple $100 for a negative scanner.
Yeah.
So, all right, those are the two apps. And then with our little bit of time remaining here, I wanted to actually give a couple tips and a couple of these hidden tips some people don't know about. And one of the first tips is actually going into up into the control center, and you want to be able to go in and access Wi-Fi and Bluetooth very easily, where you never used to do that before. You remember how you'd always have to jump around to get to it, to look at it, or you got to bring it down, look at it. So what you can do is you actually can bring down the control center and tap and hold the Wi-Fi button. That brings up the Wi-Fi menu. Now, if you tap and hold the specific Wi-Fi that you're on currently, you tap that. What it'll do is it'll bring the Wi-Fi menu and show you all the other available Wi-Fi access points that are around you, and you can easily get and join them. So it was 2 taps, being able to get to that. The other one is the Bluetooth icon on the top left on the control center. Tap and hold that. and then go into where Bluetooth is, and then you switch over, and now you're able to show all the Bluetooth devices very easily right from control panel. And I'll have some photos in the show notes here to show you that, and actually a link as well. That's one of them. And other thing you can do is, I don't know if anybody knew this, is in Face ID. You're actually able to add a second person's face to Face ID. And why would you want to do that? Probably like maybe your wife, you want them to be able to get to the get to your phone, when to access it, wink, so wink. You can go in and wink, wink, and wink, wink your wife too.
I don't need to know your password, honey. It's fine.
Let me just look up at it. So not a bad idea to do that. And it's definitely interesting to see to be able to do that and make it easier. But as I said, honey, here's my pin. You can just put that in instead. So, but it does give you an option. Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Quite the list. Looking at that you posted there.
Yeah, we're not going to go through all these, but I just picked a couple.
The one I like is the one with the calculator.
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you?
Well, no.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, just give that.
It was more just an observation. The one with the calculator where you swipe to the left to erase the last digit.
Right.
I don't like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months ago. Like the internet exploded with that. It's like I bet new feature. And just nobody knew this, a secret. It was like we were like, well, it's kind of been out for like 10 years or something like that. So a lot of just goes to show you a lot of, we think we know this stuff, but a lot of people just don't play with it. They don't know what to even try. So
yeah, this is the discoverability problem that Apple has with features.
Yep.
One of my favorites to tell people about, which has been a thing for a long time. In accessibility, you can go in and turn on the little visual indicator for whether a setting switch is on or off. Adds a little 0 in for off and a little 1 for on in those setting sliders.
Mm-hmm.
I tell everyone, go turn that on, because there are a lot of apps that have settings where those sliders, it's just not clear if you've turned something on or off. But if you have that little 0 or 1 that shows up in there as well, it's very obvious what you've just done. And people see that and they're like, did Apple just add that? No, that's been there for a really long time. But discoverability.
Yeah,
there's like the first tip, like they said, like holding down the. I started using that too, but nobody would know how to do that. Like, there's nothing that in your brain that will tell you. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know. So exactly, that's their problem.
And now there's a lot more people that know because you guys are awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So there's a couple tips. We're going to share some others in the next episodes here. Programming note: this is actually going to air just before Thanksgiving, so we're going to take off the week of Thanksgiving, and we'll be back the following week. So we just want to make sure that everybody in the United States has a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Stay home. All with the COVID-19 stuff going on right now, you want to be real careful and stay home and be safe. That's all I could say. So with that, you guys have anything else before we wrap things up here?
Jeff, where's that setting in accessibility?
Hold on, let me go look and I will tell you. Settings.
I see something that says
accessibility. So settings, accessibility, display and text size, on-off labels.
Awesome.
Great. All right, we got you another tip right there, a bonus tip there. Let's bring this show to a close as we're at the top of the hour here, and hope everybody enjoyed it. And let's go ahead and close things out here. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios. You can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. Or better yet, just go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Jeff, where can everybody find you?
Twitter and Instagram. I'm Jay Gamet, both places. This week I did Apple Context Machine with Brian Chaffin.
I listened. It was a great show.
Thank you. And the Big Show and the Mac Show from British Tech Network. I'm there. And yes, my MacVoices gift guide episode is coming up soon. And I don't want to give anything away, but I do want to say that people will walk away from that gift guide episode thinking, this is not what I expected.
Oh, that's a little teaser. I'll make sure we'll link it back on the next show here so people watch it. So MacVoices.com. That's where you got to go. That'll be coming soon. And appreciate you being here, Jeff. We always enjoy having you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me on. I have so much fun with you guys.
Yes. And then, Warren, what's been going on with Mac to the Future?
A lot of excitement. I mean, new phones, new computers. Obviously, everybody's talking about the ARMs, the M1 computers. And, a lot of people are excited about it. And, Apple really proved a lot of people wrong. A lot of people were doubting it. And now everybody's like, how much? The big topic is how much can I get from this insert MacBook here? How much do you think I could get for my 2015 Mac? So
I know a lot of people doing that. The same thing with their iPhone, their Mac Minis. They're all of them want to trade it in and get them.
It's an expensive month for us, but
for all of us, yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, you can find him on Mac to the Future. Link will be in the show notes. Come check us out. Come join the Facebook group. It's a lot of fun. And again, I wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Please be safe. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.